In today's video, I'm talking about 3 style mistakes that nobody seems to talk about, but everyone makes. Even some of the best dressed men I know make this mistake again and again, and it can cost you a lot of money. What is it? Guys, find out in today's video. The first style mistake that nobody talks about that's costing you a lot of money, you do not know how to wash your clothing. I know you wash your clothing, but you actually don't know how to wash it correctly. Let me explain. So first off, you're overwashing most of your clothing. Just because you wore it once, maybe for an hour, for a couple hours, is it truly dirty? Or could it be spot cleaned? Is it something that you could hang back up and not wash it? This damages the clothing every time you run it through because of friction, just simply the process of washing. And really, you can only wash it so many times before it falls apart, before it actually has to be tossed out. Now let's talk about care labels. And I know a lot of you guys don't even know what a care label is, let alone having read one or followed the instructions. But when the care label says wash on delicate, wash with light colors, wash with cool water, if you wash it with hot water and you wash it with permanent press items and with items that aren't really made to be washed together, understand friction, items getting wrapped around each other, actually the heat can damage your clothing and you don't want to do this. Another thing you're going to see on the care label are symbols. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a whole bunch of them right here. Guys, make sure that you understand these symbols. If you don't, simply go do a search on the internet, but understand these symbols, again, so that you don't damage your clothing. So what if there's no care label? What do? You take the item, you identify what is it made from, and then we're going to break it out. So we've got synthetic material clothing. Then we've got cotton clothing. We have linen clothing. We have wool clothing. We have silk clothing. Silk clothing, you're going to send that out to the cleaners. You have to be very careful with silk, especially when it gets wet. Now, wool, you can actually clean wool at home, but you need to understand when wool gets wet, it becomes 30% weaker. So that means that if you wash it and you don't wash it delicate or you don't wash it by hand, it can actually stretch and lose its form. Now, when it comes to menswear made from linen, from cotton, from synthetic materials, understand you can be a little bit rougher with this. I'm talking about underwear, socks, undershirts, dress shirts, athletic wear. This, as long as you're washing it with light colors, you can use warm water. I would prefer, though, you use cold in most situations, and you can wash on regular. Now let's talk about detergents. And most of you are either using too much detergent or you're using a detergent which is actually damaging your clothing, and sometimes both. Let me explain how detergent works. So imagine this is a surfactant. That's a molecule that's in the detergent that on one side it's going to clasp onto water. On the other hand, it's got a particular size. It actually is made to fit onto a certain type of dirt molecule, a grease molecule. So a lot of detergents, they actually have a wide range of different surfactants. Some of them actually are going to go in there and grab the wrong thing, and it's going to damage your clothing. Or you're overusing it and they're just going to clasp onto a wide range of things, and that's why you see the color drained out. So what's the solution? Well, you can wash less. You can spot clean. You can use less detergent. But I always felt those were half measures. Guys, at this point, I want to introduce you to Frey, the paid sponsor of today's video, and I am excited about what these two brothers are doing. Yes, I am this excited about laundry because the whole industry hasn't really changed since 1950. Everything smells the same. Everything actually pretty much works the same. These two brothers are kicking butt, and they came in there and said, okay, let's take a step back. First off, the formulation. Let's relook at everything. So they went on, they found these surfactants, which are much more friendly. They brought in these different enzymes, which again are much very environmentally friendly and friendly to your clothing, are going to do a lot less damage. And the other thing, it smells incredibly good. So these guys worked with a fragrance. I mean, they worked with a perfumer to come up with this great oak scent. I mean, it smells like almost like a fragrance, but they didn't overdo it. They realized, hey, people don't want this stuff overpowering. So after you wash and everything, it's very light, but you can actually use the dryer sheets to bring in a little bit stronger of a smell if that's what you really want and you like it. They went with a concentrated formula. They used as little water. I mean, really, all it takes is 6 pumps. And this right here is good for 32 loads. So it's a very concentrated formula. How did it perform? I tested this out. It worked great. They've actually got the stain remover. This one, 325 sprays. They've also got the wrinkle release. It works really good for lighter garments like your lightweight cotton shirts this summer. They've got a freshener if you want to freshen things up. All right, gents, so I'm linking to Frey down in the description of this video with the best discount code you're going to find out there on the internet. So use it or lose it. And guys, a 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't like the smell, if it doesn't perform to the level you want, guys, you can get your money back if you're not happy. I love it when a company stands behind their product like that. The second mistake that nobody talks about that can cost you a lot of money, you don't know how to dry your clothing. You just throw it into the dryer. You hit start and yeah, you over dry most of your clothing with the heat setting and you leave it in there too long. So let's talk about heat. Heat is bad for most clothing because what does it do? If you've got a stain that you didn't spot, it is going to set that stain. So make sure that before you put things in the dryer, it has no stains on it. Now let's talk about heat and shrinkage and understand any clothing item that you put in a dryer is going to shrink to some effect. Wools and silks, don't even think about putting those in the dryer because those are going to shrink an incredible amount. Now when it comes down to menswear made from linen, cotton, and synthetics, like I talked about earlier, you can be a little bit rougher, but again, don't overheat it. I've seen synthetic shirts actually shrink in quite a bit and all of a sudden you can't ever get them back to their original shape. On the collars, you start to see puckering. The best thing to do is actually pull the items out damp and go ahead and iron them whenever they're still damp. So in some cases, a bit of heat and shrinkage is a good thing. That favorite crew neck t-shirt, okay, it got loose around the neck. We'll just throw it into the dryer and all of a sudden it's going to fit better around there. That undershirt that got stretched out, throw it in the dryer. It's going to fit you a bit better. Now I want to make the case for air drying. I know it takes up more space, isn't as fast, but guys, it's more environmentally sound, uses less energy, and it's better for your clothing. So the lint filter, where do you think all that lint comes from? Guys, that is your clothing, the material, little bits from your clothing getting removed, and that's not good for your clothing. So whenever you can avoid putting something in the dryer, it's going to last a lot longer. And when it comes to wool knitwear, you actually have to air dry it or you're going to damage it. Do not put it in the dryer. So what you want to do is simply lay out a towel, then take the knitwear, lay it on top of the towel and make sure it's laying flat and there's no tension or anything stretching because otherwise the wool could be misshapen. The third mistake that sharp dressed men make that costs them a lot of money, guys, they don't properly maintain their clothing because it takes work, it takes effort, and until you feel the pain, you really don't think about it, you don't worry about it until you go in to pull out your favorite wool sweater and there is a moth hole. Can you guys see that? You need to take care of your wool clothing. So what you want to do before you store it for the summer, actually get it professionally cleaned. The chemicals, yes, I know it will over time damage the clothing, but it is worth actually killing all of those eggs. And when you store the clothing, make sure it's in a tight container and you put in, if you're against mothballs, then go look at lavender or other natural scents that you can put in there. But you want to make sure that you are preventing just opening up and getting that painful feeling that I got years ago. Next up, let's talk about your shoes. Are you using shoe trees? So many guys go out there and they spend $3, $4, $5, $1,000 on their shoes and they don't use shoe trees. Guys, this is going to help the shoe not only maintain its shape, but they pull out a bit of moisture and they do a great job just making sure when you wear those shoes, they look great. Now let's talk about loose threads. And you know what I'm talking about. You've got it on your athletic shorts, maybe on your dress shirt, maybe just on your favorite t-shirt. And this loose thread, it keeps coming undone. Understand that a piece of clothing is made from thread. And if you let this loose thread be, it's eventually going to unravel and the entire item is going to become something you can't wear. It's going to form a big hole. So how to fix it? Well, simply take the thread and you're going to sew it back in. But that may be a little bit too much for most of you, so here's a quick hack. What you want to do is actually go over and use super glue, and right where it's coming out, just simply glue it all together. And yes, if it's in an area that's not seen, that is a hack that's going to get you by, and it's not the best fix, but it is one that I know a lot of you guys will be anxious to try. All right, guys, so if you want more, I've got a free ebook for you down in the description of this video, A Man's Guide to Laundry. Yes, this detailed ebook, I talk a lot more about everything I talked about in today's video, because this is where even the most stylish men screw it up. They don't know how to wash and take care of their clothing, and this hurts. And don't forget, guys, go check out Frey. I'm linking to him down in the description. I love the fact that this company is two brothers who are going into an industry and they're innovating. I could even travel with this. Yes, they've got a lock here, which I thought was pretty cool. Fits right on there, so I could travel with this. If you care about your clothing, if you're spending good money on your clothing, you need to take better care of it with better detergent, better stain removers. And remember, they've got a 100% money back guarantee. That's it, gents. Take care. I will see you in the next video.